Welcome to I'm Loving Life podcast. I'm super excited. We have a legend now.
Oh my goodness.
Now, what is it, Tim?
The Lennox International Woman of the Year Award.
Woman of the Year. That is my sister.
Jessica Stacy, International
Wow.
Woman of the
Qualifications
Year.
is you just have to work
Oh,
at
is that
A&T, right?
No.
No?
I don't think so. It's
this is a
international.
Linux thing. This
Oh,
is
okay.
big time.
International.
Woman.
Everyone, all the women, the whole Lennox International team, you got the award.
Okay.
How does it feel to be that awesome?
Great. It's a privilege. It's a privilege.
It's great. I thought, and be recognized, like you're going to go get recognized.
Maybe I think I just don't want to feel a certain way, like all excited about it. I don't know.
You're saying you don't want the spotlight on
Yeah,
you?
that's what it is. I don't like
I
the
feel
spotlight.
like you live for the
maybe.
lights, though.
Oh, see,
Well,
good point.
That's right. That's right.
So lights are kind of your thing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine.
So we brought her back on so we can discuss this wonderful award.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a lot of stuff coming out. Like
Yep.
today, I guess it'll be next week that's posted, but today we're shooting a really cool commercial that I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a behind the scenes little episode is what this is probably going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
Yeah. Hey, but we have the home show coming up too this weekend. We have a lot of things going on.
But this will be posted next week. So we're
Oh, we'll already
over.
passed
we're
it.
already
Yeah.
past it. We should have posted that last one.
That's okay.
So, let's talk about a commercial first. Let's dive into this Linux thing. How'd you get it? I think people want to know. How'd you get it?
Well, I think I really try to connect with people on LinkedIn. And I really try to understand that it's a woman's.
World. It's a woman's
Well,
world.
no, but it's a different profession because not a lot of women are in the profession.
Right. But it's really cool to be able to say, like, they looked at our company, saw that how valuable you are, and you really like.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
And the
That's
dance
awesome.
moves come in full circle. So
Right.
That was
so
also part
we've
of the
really been
decision.
stepping it up on our dance moves too.
No,
so maybe that's what they
Jessica,
saw.
no.
It's got a lot more
No.
complicated for sure. The dance moves.
Yeah.
Jessica's
sure.
pushing this. You're pushing this. It's very hard for
You don't
somebody
wanna
that's
talk
not a
about this,
professional dancer. Yes, it's hard.
But what's so cool is Joseph's never taken a dance class in his life. Now he's seen a lot of dance classes and he's went to lots of dance recitals, a lot of competitions. I don't
other
know that his
reasons, right.
eyes were actually on the dances, but yeah, he's been able to see all those things. But he's really good because he can actually remember them, and he's got great rhythm. So
He does have good rhythm. The chain helps out a lot. So
Chain.
you don't even have it on today.
No, I don't.
what
not?
happened?
Because it's going to be. I just didn't want to wear it today. I didn't know I had to wear it every single day.
Well,
I don't know.
obviously this is a thing.
It's kind of become a staple. So it's part of the
How
personality.
is it a staple that I have a chain?
I'm just saying.
well, see now.
Now, we want to talk about the chain. Let's talk about the chain.
Okay, let's talk about the chain.
So, first of all, I never had a chain. If I
Okay.
did, I was like little. And this year, I was like, oh, it'd be cool
Well,
to have
let's
one.
just say you did used to have chains when you were younger.
What about the chains that I had when I was little?
No, I know that you did have them because you would wear them and make.
Was it the one that goes to the wallet?
No, it
That
had like a
one.
cross on it.
Got
Oh.
it. Yes, I did have a chain.
Did you really?
Yeah.
With a cross on it?
But it was a long time.
Yeah,
Oh.
it had a cross on it.
Did you feel
Yeah.
super
No,
cool?
I stopped wearing them because I just.
There was
soccer,
a time.
No.
There was a time in his life he decided, you know what, I'm going to stop wearing these, and
It
That's
was a
just
good
what
decision.
happened.
Good decision.
Yeah.
Get away from it because when you're playing soccer, you don't want to have it because you couldn't wear it. So I got rid of it.
Right.
So now when I'm 40, my wife says I'm doing a midlife crisis wearing a chain.
Hey, it could be worse. Like you could
Shout
be
out
going
to
out
Lainey.
and buying a car or
Fair enough.
a hot air balloon. I don't know, like something. It could be very dramatic.
hey, we got close to buying a hot air balloon. That was the thing.
Yeah. Very, very close.
Luckily, we didn't. So it's a blessing.
But anyway, so I went down this rabbit hole, found an $18 chain, and everybody thinks it's like this.
Yeah, $400 Cuban link.
Yeah,
thing.
no, $18 from Best
No, it
Buckle.
was
From
the buckle. Yeah.
It looks good though. Where was this at again? The buckle.
I don't know why we're on this train, but we're riding it anyway.
It's okay.
Well,
So-
see next time. See my you can't see these, but my
Billy
mom.
can.
Oh, okay. My mom bought us these bobbleheads, which are really cool. But you could put a necklace on yours, Joseph. Yeah.
Can we get off these necklaces?
Can we get off the chain and be dancing, please?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But they're
Linux
cool.
Linux Live next week.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are going Sunday. Going to be there till.
We'll be back Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are kind of the when you guys go to Linux Live, because you guys haven't gone like every year, right? Especially recently.
Right.
You missed a couple.
We
But
missed
a couple.
what are kind of the biggest things that you guys enjoy out of going to Linux Live?
Well, usually for me, I don't know about you, but for me, like it's everybody that's a Linux dealer. So the ones in Oklahoma, the ones in Kansas City, doesn't matter, all over the place. And they go to that central, so you can have conversations just kind of like we did when we went to that other one, Linux thing. But you have big conversations. You can see what they've done to get them. Like, I think I've told you, there's a guy in Dallas that said he was 1 year and he's decided that everything he did was, he said, hey, if I don't give you 5-star review, let me know. Like a 5-star treatment, let me know. And I will make sure it gets changed to make sure that we get 5 stars. So he got tons of 5 stars. And Dallas is it's worse saturated than here. I mean, you can cough and you'll hit another heat and air company. Well, what he did different, that he had a 5.0 rating and everybody used him and he blew up. He was like just a little bitty company. Well, he's a $20-30 million company in like a year or two time. Were you there with that conversation? And it was just so impressive. And that's where my mind has changed, is like, just make sure we get the best customer service, the best intentions possible, and it's going to make it grow, which it has. I mean, we're growing every time because of it.
Well, I mean, it's like a big, huge networking group with your actual peers, the people that do exactly what you do. So I think that's really interesting. And then you can actually reach back out to those people. You know, if they have a bigger business than you or a littler business, you can be, somebody that, helps them through things as well, that you get those connections. That's really interesting. And they give you some cool ideas. I mean, every idea Joseph and I, we definitely will take in and be like, well, let's try it, if it sounds interesting. And if it's not, I mean, we do that with our employees as well. But to hear another company that it actually is successful for them, it's awesome. I know that a lot of people use those yard signs. They always say that those really work. We did try it, but I don't think our yard signs were very big or something.
No,
is that what
just
happened?
Didn't really put them out.
Oh,
period.
okay.
Like,
And they were kind of small, and they're only one-sided.
but you
I
still
think you have to
didn't put
use
'em out.
bifocals
Like,
to read them, right? No?
No,
I'm just kidding.
but that was because of budget. So
Part on the budget.
I still thought that they were going to be bigger than what they were, though. I mean, they were like, I don't know.
2x2.
they weren't very big, but.
But the other thing that's really cool is they have breakout sessions for you. And the biggest breakout session for me this year is about the refrigerant change. So next year, the refrigerant is going to change from a 410A. It's just a blend that they've been using the last 7 years. It has to go more environmental friendly. So if it's going to go more environmental friendly, what that means to everybody, that the refrigerant has to be more flammable. Eventually, maybe a decade later, we're going to go to propane. I guarantee it. But right now, this is a flammable. And it's like, when you say flammable, I'm not talking like Windex flammable, but it's still flammable. It's going to change the insurance on our vehicles. It's going to change the codes that the guy's going to have to do. It's going to change a whole bunch of stuff, more technology. So
They're going to have other license, right?
we'll probably have to have some more license. I think more insurance we'll have to have. But that's the biggest thing for us this year, is to actually figure out what that next step is. And that's why, this is we need to stop everything to make sure we go to it so we can see that change, because it's such a huge change, not only for a company, but for the consumer, because we always think the prices are always high, but imagine that now what that next step is going to look like. It's kind of scary. I'm not an engineer, but in my mind, if I have a leak in your evaporator coil that goes in your house, that stuff is going to go through your vents. I would have been putting it outside so it shuts off, but I'm not an engineer.
Is
Hey,
it
but-
enough refrigerant in there to do something?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of refrigerant you have
If
to
you're
use.
at 8 pounds of refrigerant or 6 pounds, I mean, is that enough to actually blow up a house or something?
I mean, I don't know how much is you put a Windex bottle and light it up. I don't know how much you need.
I didn't know Windex was flammable, so.
Or-
so
I mean, there's a
something I
little
learned
bit.
today.
Hairspray? Isn't that
Yeah, I
I
flammable?
mean,
Yeah.
that's
it's a
really
little
flammable.
bit,
I think
yeah.
it's more, but I'm just saying it's not like a rubbing alcohol. I mean, I don't know that yet. That's why I'm very excited to go find out and see.
And they're going to introduce other equipment, new equipment, because they're going to have something that transfers to both,
Yeah.
to kind of ease the gap, because it's going to be, people are still getting warranties and different things like that going in the future. So we just don't know what we're going to run into. But they have some really cool classes there. They'll talk about advertising. They talk about
Which we might be mentioned there.
yeah. And then they talk about like CSRs. So that's a customer service representative. So that's usually the person that's answering the phone so that they can, talk to us.
It's crazy. They talk about the AI answering the phones.
Yes.
And they did that a long time, like 2 years ago. They said something about it, but I don't know. And now that all the AI technology that's coming out, it's like, man, that's
Yeah, my opinion on the whole AI thing, I think we're going to get to a point where everyone starts using it and then it all looks copy and paste. And then people are going to be looking for like, no, I want human. You know what I'm saying?
Interaction.
Like, I truly think that's what's going to happen because it's gotten so accessible to everybody. But I think there's parts of it you can use to benefit, but you can't just copy and paste it. Like, I've gotten to the point now where I can tell someone writing the job posting, anything with words, I can tell if they use AI for it,
Right.
because the AI gives signs off of that because they're not customizing, their prompts enough.
But on AI, again, I don't use that often. But if you put something in there, you can go back and edit and put your words into it, right?
Yeah, you can have it rephrase it, but the more you talk to it, the more it gets a feel of like who you are.
Okay.
The
No.
thing is, most people aren't going to go that deep into it. That's the thing. I've seen, just like we, went to the class. I went to the class yesterday, and they were talking about AI. And the part where I wanted to speak up was like, whoa. Like, yes, it is something that's very good, but we're not talking about the negative sides of this. Like, there is a negative side of
Right.
this that you have to be
Right.
careful of.
Yeah.
I think it's just impressive that was even a thought, to be able to use that. And
Yeah, but now if you think about it, you don't actually know what's real, right? Because an AI might send you an answer and you think that you found the answer and it's just something that just made it up. Oh, well, they can make up all kinds of things, right?
Yeah. Well, so Tyler Media came in and showed me something real cool today on their digital platform. So they actually have it to where it has AI in it. So like the dashboard that we use for OTT, it actually has AI embedded in it, right? So it can make you a little video. They show me an example of it. It analyzes your website, what your color scheme is, how you kind of lay out things, and it can generate little ads for you.
That's cool.
wow.
And I could not tell the difference. When I'm looking at this, I was like, that is impressive. Like, anyway, had the same font, same colors, everything. It was insane.
But
So
just
I was
imagine
really
the person
impressed.
that made that up. I mean, I don't even know where it came from.
Well, they
Sorry,
have limitations on it to where the AI can't learn from itself because then it turns into Terminator and we all die, right? So they have
That's what they say in the
limitations on it.
movies.
Yeah, that we've all seen this, right, since
Right.
the 80s. But even Twitter or X has their own AI called Gronk, and it's specifically set up to be more sarcastic
Okay.
and funny with the tone,
That's cool.
But you can set up something where you're like, hey, I want to write whatever on there, but in Forrest Gump's voice. You could do that. And it changes all the language to where how it, like a person from,
Jenny.
yeah, it literally references in there and everything. It's pretty wild.
That's neat.
There's a lot of things. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I think you have to use it as a tool, right? And I think
I think you have to be aggressive with it. I mean, it's just a different step that people. It's crazy because our industry is so old school of, hey, it's a handshake, which is great, but now like that technology, all that's changing it. And if you don't step on that train or even at least flirt with it because like the thermostats are telling you what's wrong with it now. They'll tell you what the superheating subcool or how that system's running by looking at a thermostat now. Well, that's really good for our techs, but eventually you're not going to have the techs that can do that. So it's I love it. I mean, that's why we're staying on top of it.
But there's so many people, though, whenever something like this comes out, there are people that hate it and there are people that like it. And especially in where we're at and what we're doing is we have to be with it because, I mean, things change so fast. I mean, especially in the internet world and advertising and everything like that, you really have to jump on board, even if you don't want to, because it's going to change, you know?
I mean, look at us. Like we started doing the TikTok way before anybody started doing it. Just like we always said, it was the black horse. Like if something comes from it, great.
Right.
We've been blessed with the stuff. People see that what kind of company we are, and other companies are starting to, you know, do the same things or whatever. And it's just like, we're willing to change because if you stuck in the past and you're not going to grow, you'll die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's luckily we have our dad that's willing to push us to go because he doesn't want us to be just copacetic. He doesn't want us to be just a normal company. He wants us to be the best, and that's service, our guys, our plumbing, everything is making sure that we bring the best customer service. And I'm super glad that he's
yeah, but you know, like some owners that have had it for a long time, they don't want to change. They just want it to be the exact same way they've always had it, and that's why we're lucky that we have that opportunity to give these things. Because never in my dad's history did they have an internet guy or somebody that does our social media stuff, but now that's what we have to have. I mean, we definitely draw attention to ourselves that way, right?
Well, we didn't know that we needed a marketing guy when we hired Tim. And then Tim's like, let me show you what I can do. You crushed it.
Which is barely anything. I mean,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
come on. See who's modest. Let's talk about you,
I'm just
Tim.
saying, guys, I'd never done anything like that. It's just
Yeah, but you
just
took a hold of it and ran it, and look at what we've accomplished from it. And now, I mean, we have, excuse me, a guy that does videography now. I mean, we just started with that, and then now more stuff is coming down the line because of they're seeing our ads. Because we're going to Lennox Live. We sent a video to our TM, Robert, that was on here. Then he sent it to his boss. He sent it to his boss, and then it just came up. Everybody's seen it in Lennox. So it's, excuse me. So it's been pretty awesome to see that transition, but we would never know that we needed it until we
did it.
Well, the more I go into like learning all these things, the more inadequate I feel personally, just because there's so much information. And then it's like every time like growth or happens typically is when we don't know, like today.
Yeah.
Today's a big deal just because we're shooting a commercial completely different. Like, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet. I felt like we just got our old style down with the TV stations where we know what we would like, we know the format, everything like that. And now we're pushing ourselves, and it's just a whole unknown kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with shadows and lighting and all this kind of stuff. You're like, whoa, it's
Right.
a lot.
It's
There's a
intense.
lot going on.
we didn't even know about shadows and
But
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we weren't really
Things
paying
like-
attention, but now it's part of the thought process.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because we're literally talking about, okay, what's sunset, what's the golden hour, blah, blah. Okay, well, we need to get in here, and we have to take more of the thought process on like the back work of planning it. You know, that's a big part, is like planning it. And I've never been that way because we're always like, we're just going to go.
Well, and two, Andre is his name. And so Andre does a really great job. And the commercials that we usually do, I mean, we don't have this much effort, right? Like, it's usually like, okay, can we put something together in our back, in our
shop,
warehouse and do it? Yeah, we can do that. I mean, why not? Just put your phone up front and we've got this. But now he's trying to take it another level, put other levels on it. And that's what's made it unique. And to see the textures between, it's really an art form. And normally you don't actually think of it as an art form, but it is, because it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of like planning. Joseph, don't move, do this, be excited. And it's like every little inch that he makes a difference in that shot.
Because you're talking 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and like this commercial, I think Mike Madrid had a big hand in it. Can we tell him? Can we drop a teaser?
I mean, it's already gonna be. Well, it's not gonna be out yet next week, but it's the idea basically is Peaky Blinders meets superheroes. That's the gist of what's going on.
So
Well,
old
Heat and Air Plumbing, right? And Generac, right,
it's
as
just
well.
The
It's like a
idea
mixture.
behind it.
Yeah. But it's that old school feel, and to bring that old school to new school value, or what is it? What did Mike say?
New school, new school mechanical, old school values.
Old school value. So that's the plan behind it, and I bet it will show through the 15 seconds. I think it's very exciting because we all got new suits and let's looking fly this one.
That's right.
Yeah, yesterday when they were doing the talk with the marketing thing, something that was interesting to me is a lot of companies are switching. They're like rebranding, going through big rebrands, right? And the colors I'm seeing, the most general colors are red and blue.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe we'll be able to stay in it and be unique with everyone else switching, because I saw one yesterday. It was in New Jersey. It's like Sweet Life Home Services or something.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's literally like a slushy. It's not really,
That's
it's a
unique.
cup, the straw and everything. And the lady was talking about it, like his wife was like, this is the worst thing you can do. It's the worst decision. And he, like, I guess the owner powered through it and rebranded, and it's been doing good,
It's
just to draw attention, though, right? Like, I mean, we got so much attention when we did that dance thing that it was like, whoa, what are you guys,
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's totally off of what we do. We're not dancing. We're Heat and Air and Plumbing and Generac, right? So, I mean, way to go for him that he pushed through it. Because I don't know, I guess if my husband was telling me like stop doing that, I'd probably be like, okay, maybe it's a really bad idea, right? And definitely if you guys were like, that is a horrible idea, I'd be like, well, let's forget that, move on. But for his, for him to keep going, that's awesome.
Yeah, it used to be called Polar Brothers or something like that. Something with the last name. And they have it on the website. Their website's completely rebranded, but at the top, they still have, Pole Brothers or whatever it is. So there's that link,
bit.
still.
So I wonder if they bring ices to everybody.
They bring popsicles, apparently, or some.
But see, there are some companies that do that. Some people are bringing stuffed animals to their
seen that.
little stuffies. I mean, my child would love it because he's 6, so he would probably like the stuffy. But I mean, what a marketing deal, right? Like, I guess you kind of
It's like our
find your
capes.
niche.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we have superhero capes, so that it'll be there constantly. A popsicle thing sounds like ain't it gone, but I'm just talk
Yeah,
about
but
a
it's
headache.
unique.
I know, but
Well, maybe that's why the content side for us is going to be the separator, between going like, oh, we're popsicle, Heat and Air, whatever.
Right.
We don't have to do that because we already do other things so different. Maybe that's it.
put like a nose clip for plumbing.
We could
Just
probably do
kidding.
something
Or
like that.
potpourri.
And just hand people-
some poopery.
Poopery, just
Here's some poopery.
just
Poopery.
leave it
Did you
there.
just make that up?
Yeah, I just made that up.
Isn't that a thing though?
Yeah, they have it, but it's
okay.
They do?
you put it in the toilet. You
Oh,
spray
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
put it in the toilet. And
I
it's
got
supposed to
you.
mask. the
Have you ever
scent.
used that before?
No.
Oh, have
have.
you? You?
Yeah, basically it just puts like an oil coating that's supposed to like keep everything below the water line sealed. So
The ideal of it.
The reason why I bought this, actually, I saw a really, really good YouTube ad, and it was this lady in this nice dress, and she was sitting in the middle of a cattle panel, right, like a feed lot, and it was dairy cows and crap everywhere. And she just takes it out and sprays, almost like you're not but it was showing their ridiculousness, and
Right.
it still worked. I literally bought a bottle of that off of that ad. So
That's cool.
yeah, so that ad worked.
At least one person it worked
Right,
for.
right.
Oh no, it's the only bottle. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I never ran through all of it, but I don't know.
Did you ever try it?
Yeah.
Did it work?
It worked. Yeah. Actually, the tip that was better was turn the shower on and letting it run the hot water run. That works amazing. That's a tip. That's a tip, guys.
That's a life
Turn your
hack.
water on. Like,
So
Turn your water on.
So if you're with people in a hotel room
Okay.
and it's like you and I don't know, our incident was I was with
you
Tim
gotta nuke it.
and you
know?
had to spend some time there. If you turn the hot water on, it steams up everything
And it makes it go away.
It makes it go away.
Yeah, it completely kills the smell. So
It's a
Oh,
life
there you
hack.
go.
I went on a trip with a group of guys, and their rule was if you had to go number 2, you had to go out to the lobby bathroom. So there's me, 8:00 at night, walking down the hall. I had to go down because it was in Vegas. I had to go down the stairs, to the main
my
lobby.
But you kept by the rule.
I did because
job.
I didn't want to hear complaining. There's 6 guys in the room, they just didn't want it to be bad. So.
That's pretty amazing. So if you haven't learned something today, this is it.
Turn on the steam.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
That's a good idea.
We're gonna do that today, and then spring's about to start.
Yeah.
I hope spring starts for us.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be a hot summer. I know not everybody loves that, but we like it. So
If you're a heat and air person, it's either you want it super cold so the unit works, or super hot so the unit fails. Not fail, works. Excuse me. If both those are working fine, eventually once it's 100 degrees or below, there's a component that's going to go weak for us to be able to help.
It's kind of like roofers with hailstorms,
Right.
Restoration people with busted pipes.
we went to like a networking group and they did a whole program on roofers, and they actually, when the hail comes in, like they use different programs to show the roofers exactly where the hail went down. I was just like shocked that was a thing.
Knows exactly where the hell goes down.
Oh yeah. No pun.
I'm bringing the hell and
Hell
They don't tell us exactly where all the heat is.
No,
No, I'm just
true.
kidding. It's everywhere. It is a
It
lot.
doesn't work the same. Yeah, I think that program's Hell Trace, and I think that was developed here.
here
actually.
it's in Oklahoma.
That's neat. Well,
Of
because we get a
course,
lot of hail.
Yeah, we have the most amount of hailstorm. There's definitely way more roofers than HVAC and owners.
yeah.
Absolutely, way more saturated.
And then on top of that, for roofers, like you have the locals, and then you have everyone coming out of state to come take the roof.
So how do you kind of feel about, the refrigerant change and anything like that? Do you think that's the opportunity to kind of separate yourselves from like one truck people, maybe someone that's not keeping up with all the guidelines?
Well, I think for us, the one truck people usually, their harder time is right now because they're not doing service. They're hoping for someone to call. There's only so much you can do when you're a one truck guy. Which is, I give it power to people that do it. It's, we were that. We understand, but luckily, my dad had all that 40 years of experience, so that all those clientele always rode with him, and they've been riding with him, so he's been blessed. And then you grow from that, and those one truck guys, I think they're younger, so they're gonna keep up with the new stuff.
It's right there in your hand. Everything nowadays, everything's right there. If you want to know about refrigerant, bam, it's there.
Right.
AI helps you with that, right? So it's like constant. They are younger because they think they can. Everybody thinks that they can be a heat and air company. Even 22 years old, they're thinking they can do it all, which maybe some of them can if they have the drive. But guess what? Sometimes it gets hard. And especially when you have those employees behind you, you're like, we better get it together. And sometimes that's where they fall short, or they like get a little frustrated because they're like, well, we haven't actually hit that goal, or we haven't, hit that yet.
Well, it's just like only reason we say that is because we've had plenty of people come in for interviews. They're like, I just couldn't make it. I just couldn't do it. It's too much stress, because it is a lot of liability, a lot of risk for a homeowner. A business owner, because if you blow up someone's house, the liability, the risk.
They're going to come back for you if something
Absolutely.
happens.
If we go through sealings every summer. It's like a thing that every heat and air company probably goes through, and when they get bigger. But reality is that will hurt somebody or you flood someone's house, and what's that next step? And I those one truck guys, I wish them all the best, but man, it's hard and it's a grind. And the ones that make it, they do really well. You can see the companies that do it. I mean,
there's some young guys that do it. I mean, they are very successful. It's just it's the consistency of doing exactly what you love. And if you don't actually love what you're doing, eventually that's not going to end up being, you're doing it because you have to, because that's what you've done all your life. You'll probably end up back at another heat and air company. So don't burn bridges, right? Mm-hmm. But all I'm saying,
that's a good point.
I'm just saying, but it's the grind. If you're willing to push through those hard times and do those things, I mean, you can make it.
Anything when you hear the thing like, okay, I'm going to go do my own thing so that I can work my own hours. But don't you think that's kind of crazy to say though, because you end up working a lot more.
But I don't think people see the others, like when you're young and you're doing that, you see just going to the job and doing that. Well, you got to bill the people, then you got to make sure they pay. You got to make sure that you're doing the advertisement, you're going to the networking things, you're doing all the little stuff. Which, like Mike Madrid, he did the same thing. I mean, it was his own company. And he's at every networking thing, doing work on the nights and then working more. And I mean, granted, you do work more here because you're trying to make it better for everyone else, but you can go home at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, go spend that time with the family, come back to work and start over again. Because it's not a life or death situation on anything. Well, we're not doctors, or we're not IMSA. I mean, we're not ambulance. I mean, we're not to that. The only time we get in that situation is people don't have enough cool air. Enough heat for their house. Then it can get dangerous. But reality is it can wait until tomorrow. I mean, and when you're doing it on your own, you're grinding. You have to grind, because if it's just yourself, you're fine. When you live in an apartment, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a family that you're trying to support, you have just one employee, well, that's another family. Like for us, like we have 45 families that we have to worry about. And you imagine, like, you don't make payroll next week. Where's the money coming from? Well, it comes from our pockets. We're like, okay, well, let's fork over the money because the money's coming in. I mean, and that's a big decision that you have to be as not like to be their own employee. It's easy if you had one person, one truck, and you just work a couple of hours there.
I was going to say, if you're a one person show, you don't have a family. I mean, you have your family, your mom, your dad, whatever. But like, I'm talking about like a husband or a wife or a kid, and you don't have to, like, you can go to a job, do a service, and they'll make you enough money to get through the next day, right? And if you do, it can probably hold you off for a week, and it's just what do you want to do with it? Do you just want to do that? Then that will be easy for you and you will be successful. But what happens is we develop families, we develop all kinds of things, baggage, whatever needs to be done. Oh, we got to fix something in the house. Now we got to get a new car or whatever. Those things you have to get a little more money in there.
Yeah, I had a little bit of experience with it. Not really because I have my own business, but it still felt like that because it's still like solar producer. But those were the hardest things were going, because the industry I was in, like during the winter was also the very hard part. So I remember making $5,000 one month in the summer, and then that next December I made $130.
Yeah.
So like you showing up at a house, like I remember my kids I had one kid so far, but none of us got anything for Christmas that year.
Right.
Like, and barely made it as it is, but it's a lot. So like I feel like I've felt that part. So whenever I see someone going out on their own, I'm like, okay, just know, like, it all sounds amazing until you actually go through that. Then there's a lot of things you didn't know and you're going to learn, like, real quick,
And that's the thing is, like, we wouldn't be A&T Mechanical if my dad didn't take that risk. I mean, he took the risk to be on his own. He got lucky with getting A&T Mechanical. Once he got A&T Mechanical, then the whole market crashed. I mean, drop, bankruptcy. and he had just grind and grind. He'd use the money that he got here to pay for the next job, to pay for the next job, and he just grinded so much, and finally got to a point where we're A&T now, and it couldn't have all happened if we didn't have the same mindset. We didn't work good together to make this all grow the way it needed to. But that's the mentality you have to have, because guess what? It could be great the next 5 years, and then if we have bankruptcy, that kind of stuff happen again, you're looking for a job and everyone's not going to be hiring. Mm-hmm. I mean, in my mind, worst case scenario, I need me and a truck to do whatever we have to. Mm-hmm. It sucks to think that way, but reality is that's what my dad did. He had 30 employees and he grinded and grinded just to make this business stay alive. He paid all the people back. He made everything happen. And now he's grinded to the point that he gets to sit in his office, tell us what we want, what we need to do. And then, I mean, he lets us do whatever we want, but he gets to spend time with his dog. He gets to spend time with us. And he does have his 2 cents, what he wants to, like, when he gets his mind set on something, he takes care of it. Like we couldn't have had this building without him, because we're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of summer trying to work everything, and Dad's here making sure that people are doing the stuff we need them to do, line everything out, and the building turned out gorgeous. But he had to stay on there and grind it. He gets to pick what he wants to do now, and it's a blessing. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about? That's a lot. That's a lot to dive in.
Yeah.
We could probably be here another 30 minutes.
Hey, thanks for letting me come on today.
Miss Lennox International
Oh my gosh,
Woman of the
yeah.
Year. That's a lot to say.
That's a lot.
Golly.
They're going to have a whole thing on that too.
Yeah, you'll see a funny little video at Jessica's expense.
Yes, but that's okay. That's
she's
all right.
part of it. It's kind of like the Office kind of feels. So it will all have
the
a
one we're doing.
character.
Yeah.
Super extreme.
I'm
But
excited about it.
It'll be fun.
All right. At the end of the day, thank you. Thank you so much, and love and life.
Love life.
love life.
Bye.